Has it ever occurred to you why black and brown people think the criminal justice system, politics, and media are unfair?
And why the news caters to one specific audience more than the other? To explain this, we're going to have to go back to the 1860s and 70s during the Civil War, otherwise known as the Reconstruction era for blacks.
Reconstruction refers to the 13th, 14th, and the 15th Amendments that came about from the Civil War.
Ever wonder why the U.S. makes up 5% of the global population? 25% of the people locked up globally are in the United States, or about since the 1970s, our incarceration rate has went up 700%, or 2.3 million people. Here are the facts. Today, people of color make up 37% of the U.S. population, but 67% of the prison population. African Americans are more likely to get arrested and convicted. Once convicted, more likely to face harsher sentences. 1 of 3 black men in America are more likely to get arrested in their lifetime. The Clinton campaign pointed out in the Washington Post article that blacks are 3.6 times more likely to be arrested for selling drugs than whites are, even though whites are 45% more likely to sell drugs than blacks. The Clinton administration also doubled down on the already severe penalties for drug and other nonviolent offenses. For instance, 3 strikes and you're out is one of the many policies that significantly increase the time a person commits on a crime. While former President Bill Clinton and his wife have long enjoyed the support of black voters, his signature bill helped dismantle African American families, embracing Reagan's agenda to doing more harm to the black community than Nixon or Reagan.
During 1836, when the KKK and Reconstruction begun, politics has been a dog whistle to disenfranchise black people. The KKK's sole reason for existing was to terrorize black people with their white hoods that they traded in for their own Confederate uniforms. President Andrew Johnson, although opposed to slavery, still felt that blacks could not think on their own. He believed that African Americans were not able to take care of themselves, nor did they deserve the right to vote. Then came about the Black Code laws that caused more suffering among black people. Johnson also gave out amnesty and pardon for any former Confederates that swore loyalty to the Union and to support the 13th Amendment. Fast forward to the 60s, another pivotal time for black people was the Civil Rights era, also known as the Jim Crow era. Jim Crow laws are also laws that were known to oppress black people, that restricted them from things like voting, from things like walking on the same street as a black person, and that often, if not mostly, met with severe crimes and punishment like death. Once the Voting Rights Act of 1965 gave black men the power to vote, it didn't end, it just begun. And around the same time, the criminal justice system was just starting to weaponize in a whole new way. Since Nixon's war on drugs, which created the DEA in the 70s, that fueled his war on black and brown communities by creating stricter laws on illegal drugs and turning into crimes. In addition, Presidents Ronald Reagan and Bill Clinton started to focus targeting black people specifically with their stances on being tough on crime.